Welcome back to the LEC. The scenes you're watching on your screen right now, the Vitality players leaving the stage after being eliminated from the Summer Split. The defeat at the hands of Team BDS, their record stands at 1 win and 7 losses this regular season, meaning that Vitality will not be advancing to the group stage, which means Vitality will now need to rely on the championship points that they have accrued in winter and spring, and the hope that their opponents around them are unable to overtake them on the road to the season finals. With Vitality gone, I do want to ask our production team to bring up the standings and get immediate reactions. Guldborg, Vitality losing.
That is even more dire than most people would think when they finally see like how many championship points they have. Because while they are sitting at a lot of 120, 130, something like that, don't take my direct word for it, it's still quite a bit. But the problem that they have on their hands right now is every single team that they would not like to suddenly start getting points have started to get points. Yeah. Excel started to actually already qualify to the group stages. Team of Heretics has already qualified to the group stages. Fnatic has already qualified to the group stages. It's an absolute nightmare scenario for Vitality.
Additionally as well, if you want to think about their position in a world what they would have to play, it would also imply that they would have to go right into practice and maintain some level of form. And I think they're in a position where probably they would need to take some time off to regroup and re-strategize what they would actually want to do. Because if you're now going to bleed through the entire split and carry the luggage of this horrendous split with you, playing in a regional finals where teams are going to come in form, is going to be tough either way.
Put yourself in their shoes as well. They need to stay in tip-top form, competitive, the ability to be competitive without knowing if they're even in the season finals. Listen, we will talk more about Vitality both during PGL as well as, of course, of tomorrow's show. For now, let's turn our attention to the final game of the day. It's SK Gaming taking on MAD. To set the stakes very clearly, SK have to win one of the remaining 2 games, which are versus Mad Lions right now and Fnatic tomorrow, in order to keep a chance. SK will not make season finals if they don't make groups. So some of the destiny, some of the chances in their hands, and right now, if they are able to pick up a win, there will be a 4-way tie at 3 and 5. We are a little short on time before we go to draft, and luckily we will be doing the draft here at the analyst desk. Guldborg, I've got one of the hardest questions in the world, which I'm throwing your way. Mad Lions stats look better in their losses than in their wins. I will say that again. Their stats look better in losses than wins. What the, you know?
Okay, well, first of all, let's have a look at the victories, right? Because it's been done dirty, isn't he? But first of all, the victories, a lot of them has come from a comeback. So a lot of the times it's them team fighting their way back to suddenly, well, having a good game despite stats showing otherwise, or good team fighting to get back into the game, right? And the other end of that stick is just that some of the games where they have a lead, they just don't close out. So it's a bit of a reverse spectrum going on there.
I think a key thing for Mad Lions and how they found their success, in particular in the later parts of the season, is just how much better they become at sharpening what they're going to do in the 1-2-3. When we have, for example, when you think of Mad Lions from the previous, it was like the VoD, the Gragas, the Kesante, the Sejuani, those combinations. They figured out how they wanted to approach the drafts, and I feel like in every game that we see now in the regular season for Mad Lions, they find themselves in situations where it looks kind of incohesive. They still have that team fight prowess about them, that wildness about them, that chaos about them, because they have players like, of course, Hyli and Carzzy, and they can find scrappy victories. But I think, similar to how we make this point about Astralis, that 13-13 is going to be a savior, I think it's going to work the same way for a team like Mad Lions. I'm thinking, for example, the champion that is Rel, going out of that shell where they're playing the range supports for a player like Hyli. When he is playing champions that have a lot more priority in the meta, I think that maybe in a world where Vi and Wukong get nerfed too, I think we can also see the depth of Elyoya, and I think that's where we're going to see a more exciting Mad Lions, because usually regular season, they kind of run it down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking to Markoon on PGL last week as well, and he was also saying that even if you come ahead against Mad Lions, he's still feeling a bit worried, because you feel such an amount of pressure when you're playing against them. You know that they can always turn it around.
I feel so illuminated. Thank you, Guldborg, because I thought I was throwing an impossible task, but actually it's quite simple. They can team fight from behind and they throw their leads. That's why their stats look the way they do. Can you expand on SK Gaming for me as well? While they are sitting at 2 wins and 5 losses, right? They do need to pick up a win to have a shot at those tiebreaker scenarios. For SK, a team that we haven't given as much time right now, is another team that is also struggling, that is on the verge of it being eliminated. What do they have to do against Mad today to pick up a win to keep those hopes of getting to groups, keep their hopes of season finals alive?
It's going to sound really weird when I say this, but it's about taking it all the way. And to put more clarity into that, it's more in the fact that they show good signs in some of their games where you can see that they, let's take the G2 game where they got so far ahead, but then suddenly they just start getting caught, one member falls behind. It's just, no one's ever clicking all the time at the same time.
Well, let's find out what champions they get today, and will it click? SK take on Mad Lions right now. That was great. Oh, wait.
I hope from SK's side, I feel like the draft yesterday was very incohesive in the sense that they had the Nico and the Poppy pairing. I just want them to kind of simplify what Sertuss' role is on this team. I want them to go back to the Azirs, slam it, and just play around the bottom side and kind of revive the old version of SK that could have those comeback victories and just play it around bots. I feel like always they have this lack of identity and just play messy games all around because they don't have a clear idea of what to piece together.
Yeah, I think for now as well, his most comfortable champion has been that of Blind. It's also one of the most banned champions against him, so already taking Sertuss off that comfort. I will say in some team fights as well, even on the Azir, they have looked a bit discohesive just in general, but I think if you can build a proper team comp around it where you look at the style that XL has gone for as well, where you just make a team fight composition work, that could be what you're looking for against Mad Lions.
I'm hoping from Mad Lions' side that they give a little bit of a more priority to Chasy in the 1-2-3, especially with the Jax out. I'm hoping that we might see that K'Sante lock in because this is where Chasy is the most powerful. I think in terms of putting more priority on maybe jungle, AD and top lane in the 1-2-3 will piece together a better draft for Mad if they choose to ban Milio here on 3.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting as well, because if they go for the Milio, then, you know, they have banned Saya themselves, so first pick Vi could be decent for Markoon, one of the champions that have been banned quite often against them too. They actually kind of banned it themselves here, which is quite curious. Usually you see teams on blue side pick the Saya or ban the Saya, so it's easier to first pick that Vi without having to worry about the AD carry self-healing for themselves. Aphelios is still up and available as well. That could be a contested AD carry between Carzzy and Exakick as well.
If the time isn't too rushed, like, what's your theory on this? Why would you ban the Vi away, knowing it is a pick that we can see, you know, quite successful in this sense?
I wonder if they just want to simplify, right? Like in this case, probably they're just go Milio and Hilly was just going to pick Aphelios away, and they're thinking that the AD carry choice of SK is not strong enough because of the Xayah ban. But I find it kind of strange. Yuumi is the classic DOS champ. It feels like maybe the losses on Yuumi have really shook their confidence. There's the Azir, we will see a K'Sante, Sejuani, okay. Which is kind of strange in the Milio. The Milio ult is so good into Seju ult.
For sure.
I think it's a little bit worse.
I feel like you can just go for an Aphelios rotation here as well for Exakick. It's a good pairing together with the Milio. Exakick as well, even in the past. Like, if you want to bust out the Lucian, you can. I just feel like it's a bit sketchy if you then give over the Aphelios that Carzzy is so comfortable on as well. Okay. Still thinking about it. I think Aphelios will have more prior, but we'll see.
Okay, he's going to pivot over in the last couple seconds there to the Aphelios. So I think, Guldborg, a little bit of a smile on your lips there on the small change. What do you make then of this next phase in terms of K'Sante? Does it get locked in for 3 here? Run the risk of having the likes of Zeri or something else banned away? Or what do you prioritize on the side of Mad Lions?
Renekton is also a choice, right? Because Sejuani is already showing. They are going to give Renekton a good lane if they lock the K'Sante. Maybe those are going to lock it in to deny the third pick choice here for Mad. Oh, it's going to be Poppy instead. Interesting. It's a very strange choice.
This is something they blind picked as well in one of the earlier games as well, where I think it was against I can't remember the specific one, I'm not going to guess, but it was also just on 2 on red side that they picked it in. It's been well, really just a stylistic for a few of the teams to lock it in, have that strength in the disengage and stop some of the dashes. But for now, decent to stop the dashes if you are looking to get onto the mid lane. For now, Sertuss still haven't picked this champion, so you can look for a strong 2v2 as well. Hylissang though, we've seen Blitzcrank be picked into enchanters. He's going to go for it against the Milio.
Has done well. The thing that I love so much is Mad Lions hovering through a number of those power picks in the top lane. So Yamato giving some credence and some like thought to the same logic that you were applying. But I can see you've got some furled eyebrows, not only at the Blitzcrank lock-in, allowing the bot laners to be banned away, and now looking at phase 2. Where's your thoughts going?
I'm just thinking SK should just snipe the strong AD carries. I wonder if Carzzy is kind of sniffing for a little Ezreal angle because this is something he played the previous splits. The pairings that you have together with Blitzcrank You think Draven, you think maybe a Tristana that you've seen in the LPL. I'm just trying to think of what AD carry is going to be strong enough to beat this Aphelios Milio pairing, and I just can't think of it right now, so it's very strange to see this combination. But we have seen a lot of Varus lock-ins, but they are already very AP heavy, and I wonder if SK Gaming might maybe look to remove the Ezreal just because it's the comfort of Carzzy.
It's going to be interesting, for sure. Like, there's still other AD carry is available. We've seen in other regions Kai'Sa be played, but Kai'Sa is so low range that it's really going to suck if you pick that into Milio and Aphelios, and I really agree with you here as well. It's going to be difficult finding an AD carry that will actually leverage this situation. The best possible scenario is just finding someone who can actually follow up if Hylissang was to get that hook in and actually get that kill down, but for now I don't think they see it either, and Ezreal wouldn't really accomplish it. It would only really let Hylissang roam around the map and find an impact elsewhere instead of the bot lane.
I think SK can easily round off their composition with like a Victor and a chunky boy in the top lane with the name like Sion or something, just to simplify. There's a Draven. Carzzy with the rolling axes. We're going to have a spicy game from
I want to double check with my stats team. When was the last time Carzzy played Draven? I don't think it's one of his most played champions, if that. While our stats team's looking into it. Spicy boy in the top lane, what direction is it going to go? We'd wondered if Chasy was going to have some prior 1, 2, 3. The answer is no right now, but at least we'll have counter pick. So another advantage that you can speak of for the Mad Lions. But I mean, as far as the draft is shaping up, Gragas now locked in there, Yamato.
I wonder now, they should just pick a mage on mid and just play a very simple front-to-back composition. I wonder if they're going to pick something. Oh, I'm not the super big a fan of the Sylas, because this game is all about bottom side, and Sylas is going to get pushed in, and I don't want Poppy to put attention on mid, because she needs to make sure that bottom is secured. If you put this Draven behind, you're going to have a good time, but Azir should be able to have prior against Sylas.
Yeah, I mean, I can see their thought process, right? They're seeing Azir, they're thinking to themselves, if Markoon can get in there, had the steadfast presence, look for kills in the early game, and maybe you can rotate that into the bot lane after, but still, I do agree with your point, but it is also a matter if he can just stabilize bot lane, but just being down there, Markoon, to having a slight push, let them have that in with a double range and let that priority, just make sure that the Draven doesn't get any kills. And it's also this scenario that they do actually have, you know, double flex between Poppy and Gragas right here, right? Either can go top and jungle, so that might leverage a different situation on the top side, but both matches are perfectly
quickly,
fine.
While you tell me how these two teams will win their respective game, throw this out there for you. Carzzy has played 3 games of Draven all time. This is his 4th. The last time he played it was winter playoffs. It was a victory. Let's zoom out. How do these teams want to win the game? GB, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, so if you kill the enemy Nexus, then usually you win the game. But to get to that process as well, Trevor, I think looking at SK Gaming's comp, they got quite skirmish-heavy utilities going for them here as well. But the same can be said for Mad Lions. They have some safe scaling at that Asien. You know, you can really look for early playmaking with the Draven too.
I think it's also, everything is going to come down to how many hooks he actually lands, because Aphelios and Milio, they have windows where they can actually punish and have prio. This is all about the 3v3 bottom side. Can you get ahead? If not, the side is going to have a good game. I think it's all about the snowball in the bot.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds until we head over to the casters for the final game of day 2 here. Mad Lions at 4 wins, 3 losses. SK 2 wins, 5 losses. A quick reminder, if SK Gaming want to have a chance of making a group stage, they need to pick up at least 1 win, either today against Mad or tomorrow against Fnatic. If SK Gaming do not advance to groups, they will not advance to the season finals event. Let's head into game.
Let's get onto Summoner's Rift.
I thought you were going to say let's jiggy with it.
Let's get jiggy with it. Well, I'm trying out my catchphrases.
Your catchphrases? You didn't tell me about this.
I've been doing it for a while. I just haven't worked out the one I want to use. It's the onto Summoner's Rift moment, right? It's like, let's get onto Summoner's Rift, right?
Didn't we agree?
It's lights out and away we go. I've tried.
That one.
Let's get down and dirty on the Rift. A little bit too out there, I think, for the PG-13 audience that we have here. I don't want them to get offended and spam D:, you know, in the chat. Carzzy and Hylissang spotted. You got any suggestions for it?
You know, the chat was very upset when they heard you and K-Troll casting the other day.
Really?
Some things were said and the chat was not amused. Blimey, who was close to it, I think. That was funny. No, in terms of catchphrases, My one was the one in Picks to Watch where I said, I'll do it for this episode. I'll see you in the next one. I said that at the end of every episode. Yeah. And now I say it in like all content. Yeah. If I ever have to do an outro, I always say,
hello everyone, and welcome to Picks to Watch.
That is exactly, yeah. It's always funny, Drakus is just like, oh god, he's doing the Picks to Watch voice again.
I think when every caster starts out, you have that like casting voice.
What do you mean starts out? I still have it.
Yeah. I did want to talk to you about that.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Picks to Watch. See? It's really easy to tap into. Normally I do it when I cast as well. But it's the slow moment right now, you know?
Yeah.
So if there was more
casting,
intensity...
should we do that at some point?
Nah.
No?
Right now, these teams are full clearing into laning, into maybe an early gank. The red ward did spot out Markoon on his bot red. That blue probably spotted out Elyoya as well. Hilly very close to level 2, but SK's bot gets it first.
Not going to get it yet. Carzzy trying to step forward.
Hit that caster.
It's just that. Hit that caster is not something you can say outside of the game, Vedius. Doss is pulled in, has the heal, will use it. Exakick ghosting forward as well as Markoon joins the fight. Hylissang and Carzzy respectfully back away.
Yeah, never really said hit that caster out loud. But it's okay, because we're commentators.
Ah, true.
I'm talking about caster minions, you see.
Moderator in German. What? Emphasis on the or, apparently.
Isn't it commentator?
I've been told it's moderator.
I always tell everyone I'm a commentator spielen.
Okay. Wait, that's a commentator gamer. Or game.
No, it's gaming commentator. That's what I was told that means.
Commentator, I guess. Oh, true. I thought you said Spieler, not Spielen.
God damn it, Medic. I'm a doctor, not a translation man.
You're neither of those things.
Markoon looking for a gank in mid.
Oh, flashes. Gets Nisqy. Flash away from Nisqy, but the chase is on, and Nisqy is down. First blood to SK.
Nice execution there from Markoon, and the wave is in a fantastic spot for Sertuss. He can just go back to base now if he wants to. If he doesn't feel like he needs to base, then he can hold it. He needs to thin this wave out a little bit, though, because it is quite chunky. So the TP will be forced to come through from Nisqy. But what a great gank from Markoon. When we get the replay up, we'll see the interrupt on Nisqy's E after the flash commit from Markoon, which forced Nisqy to flash, and then it was a very easy follow-up, so well played from them. First blood is drawn, and a much-needed win here for SK, with much on the line when it comes to their season. The hook connects.
Oh, Doss trying to kick Hilly away. We'll use the flash. That hook got a couple of extra cogs of distance. As it looked like SK were just going for the reset. We'll have another look at this. Markoon in for the chase.
So he Qs first and then Es, and then as he's following the E, because the E came after the knockback from Markoon, that meant that it will be interrupted. So great play from him. Finds himself a kill. Sertuss.
Going deep. And you're on the chase here as well. And
yeah,
Sertuss has to burn the flash.
Bit of a blunder that from Sertuss. Just trying to go in for a trade. Wasn't expecting Elyoya to be there and ends up getting punished for it, losing his flash, as you said. Markoon is a bit behind. If he can grab this, he should be able to close that level gap. Though, of course, has the smite. Should be fine.
And SK will maintain about 300 gold lead for the moment.
You know, I recently decayed in League of Legends Medic.
Oh, really?
Made me really upset.
What are you now? Oh, did you go down to plat again?
Back to plat. Yeah,
oh,
I'm one of those people that gets Diamond 4 and then just stops playing.
Oh, that was me for like 8 years of my League of Legends experience.
You know, and I'm committed to being an Emerald Andy because my name is Andy.
Yeah,
you know,
nice,
yeah, Emerald Andy. That's where I want to live now. Retire in that elo. But yeah, took 100 elo off me from decay. That's very sad. So now I have to grind again, and the season ends in 2 weeks.
Well, we can duo if you want.
Can we?
Yeah, I've got my Smurf.
That one that you play like Belveth support on. And
I win on Belveth support, okay? Into melees, that thing is broken.
Yeah. You know, I also played against an AP Zeri and learned that was really fun. Love AP Zeri.
I hope Zeri wins.
Yeah, I don't.
She's just so fun. She dashes around.
Yeah, really fun.
Isn't it crazy that... Okay, so originally Teemo was the most hated champion in League, right?
Yeah, he's lost that pedestal ages ago.
A long time ago. And then we moved on to the I hope Zoe wins.
Yeah.
And then
there was the
we've now got the Zeri, 200 years of Aphelios. Then we had Zeri. Yeah. And now we've even evolved from that, where it's the tanks that we hate. You know?
Do you remember the good old days?
4,500 HP,
when we
500 armor.
When we used to just hate things like League of Cleavers that was funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Or Brutalizer stacking.
Or Mordekaiser being able to literally bring a dragon around with him.
He was dragging the dragon.
Yeah, he was
great.
dragging the dragon, yeah.
And that would have led to so many good jokes on K-Draw stream.
Yeah, it would have. That's true. Definitely would have.
What dragon did you get? Dragon Infernal.
Right. It's funny.
I got Dragon secured by Mad Lions.
One guy clap. I love that. One guy just went with a single clap, and then that was it.
That's all it was worth. And he threads the needle there. Hook between Exakick and DOS.
It's just what we've come to know in League right now. First 7 minutes of the game, largely uninteractive.
Oh, so from now on, will we see interaction? We've had our 7 minutes.
Maybe I spoke too soon. Perhaps 10 minutes is when we'll... Hang on, I spot a Markoon.
He's going for a red buff, Eddie. He's interacting, but not with enemies.
I thought he might look for a gank top lane, but it seems that, in fact, he will just be a thief in the night. Read any good books recently?
I'm reading through Dune, actually.
Oh, yeah. You know, the trailer for that recently came out, the second part. I never even saw the first one. I was told it was very good, though.
First one's really good.
Yeah.
Very solid movie. I will say, when I was talking to Ender about it, he was like, what do you mean you're reading through June? That's a month. And I realized the English pronunciation of Dune, we just, it's more of a J,
June.
right?
Is,
like, it's just June,
it's
you know?
true.
And he's like, oh, what are you talking about? I was like, you know, sand dunes, you know, the book Dune, because it's a desert planet. And he's like, no, what do you...
That's interesting. Yeah, I recently learned that, like, British rappers can get away with rapping certain things because of how they pronounce the words that Americans can't get away with.
Like Kodak with Kodak, right? One of my favorite rhymes of all time.
Yeah, British people can't do that because, like, you know, just wouldn't work.
It wouldn't.
They can't dive this, guys. I'd love it if they could, but they can't. Markoon's here.
There's the knockup. Exakick ghosting forward, hook goes wide, Elyoya can just dash away. Another thing British people can't do, especially specifically English people, play cricket apparently. Losing in the Ashes right now. Tilted, man. Tilted. It's a bad day of cricket.
Oh no, that's the most.
Those stumps got knocked over too many times.
Middle class thing I've ever heard you say.
I did grow up in India, so I feel there's like a, you know.
That's funny.
So gave it a good old whack.
Cricket just like worse baseball?
Oh, you are so lucky Twitter is down.
Hilly, come on, land a hook.
Oh, he does! Flash hook as he locks up Dawson underneath the tower. Doss falls to the whirling death.
The execution as Carzzy gets a payday. A 1.3k gold lead now for the Draven as Markoon will cross map for the Rift Herald, but actually, I thought Carzzy would commit for a few more plates there, deciding he wants to go back to base. All right, Hilly, I see you. He has downloaded the data, and he is locked on right now. 1,000 gold lead for Mad, all of that existing on the Draven. And Essence Reaver will be purchased.
Hilly's got all that data. He's trying to walk back in. Exakick.
What is the data telling you, Hilly?
It's telling me to go in. It's telling me to go in. But the T1000 just only goes forward. It's a Terminator reference, I think.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other robot one. Is it Glad? No, that GLaDOS is from Portal. That's also a very entertaining AI.
DOS.
Good flash.
Flashes away. Sertuss going back in. Good double knockup, but no one's underneath the tower yet. Markoon coming in with a steadfast presence as well as he looks to kill off Nisqy. Sertuss able to survive, and now Hylissang on the wrong side of the wall as Elyoya looks for the slow. Sertuss just can't get close enough, but the hammer comes down from Markoon for the slow, and Hilly's pressed his W, and that means now he is slowed to a crawl. Markoon will take his life. He sends him back to see what he can download in the fountain.
So SK get themselves 2 kills. Sertuss with a lot of confidence stealing away Nisqy's ultimate, and with a numbers disadvantage turns the play around, and after Markoon's arrival they're able to convert it into, well, what is a gold lead now. A very small one, admittedly, but the mid-jungle doing very well. They found that early kill onto Nisqy around level 3, and finding another kill is just creating a larger gap between those two mid laners as the Everfrost is now completed for Sertuss.
Well, this game, talked a little bit about stakes on the analyst desk. Mad Lions already locked in to our top 8, so they will be in the group stage no matter what. Of course, seeding does matter to a certain degree about who you're going to play up against, but likely that we'll see them in those 3-4 positions. For SK, not yet locked in our top 8, and with BDS winning and Koi being at 3 and 5 and Astralis being at 3 and 5, SK will want to chase that down very important for SK that they do make it to groups, because if they don't, they will be eliminated from contention for season finals. At most, they would be at 105 points if they finish in 9th place. And everyone would be higher than them when we finish giving out the points through the rest of the playoffs. So SK, if they don't make it to groups, their season ends in 1 day's time, which is not really where you want to be.
Did SK and Vitality, have they already played, or is that game tomorrow?
I will check the game tomorrow. It is Vitality Excel and SK Fnatic tomorrow.
But is there a world where SK can actually still finish 10th?
Oh, it's
that's what I'm
stop
saying,
trying to make me do maths.
I apologize.
Well,
but I just realized that there's actually a world where Vitality could even get a few more points.
Yeah, so Vitality did beat SK. So if they tied 9th, 10th, Vitality would take the 9th spot.
Yeah.
And SK would only get 7 points from this split. So Riftheld's used in the top lane to try and get some more gold into Exakick. Will even out the total gold on the map. And, still though, Carzzy with a 1.5k gold lead. Lots of tower plates in the bottom lane. Irrelevant going forward.
Good ult there. Boy, Irrelevant, the damage is good.
TB behind. But Irrelevant doesn't really have too much left to do much here as Chasy begins to chase him down the nut. Into the wall, into the wallop, into the kill as Elyoya now caught up towards the top side. Keeper's verdict coming out. Elyoya stunned for a second and sent packing.
And Markoon and Sertuss are doing work on the Rift right now. Another pick found in the top lane. Nisqy, every Shurima shuffle he tries to make happen, all it does is get a flash out from someone. Almost cost his life in the bottom lane, but they do end up finding that pick. Hilly now in a bit of danger.
I mean, the rest of SK are closing in here as well. They might try and kill off Sertuss. Whirling Death, 8 seconds away for Carzzy, only 100 stacks, so wouldn't be the largest execute as Exakick takes the top lane tower. One struggle for SK is the fact that it's Markoon getting all the kills. You kind of wish Exakick was being funneled a couple of those. Obviously, Markoon trying his darndest to get his teammates ahead. As Sertuss is hooked back, and now Carzzy gets another delivered to him. The pause. Now, I'm wondering, it looked like Sertuss jumped across the wall in a really weird way.
I also saw that,
and I'm not 100% sure what happened.
I did. I also saw that. He probably, in the moment, didn't think much of it because he's like, oh, that was weird, well, and then walked off, and then...
He kind of got immediately hooked as well.
That's the thing.
So it's like he starts fighting, then he's like, oh, we should probably pause
So,
this.
you know, admittedly, one of those things, sometimes there's a bit of a delay on the spectator, right? Yeah. So sometimes you have that, like, weird teleport moments where you can, like, jump in time or, like, all that stuff. So I didn't overthink it. You know, I thought, okay, whatever, that's not a big deal.
Happened,
yeah, it's fine. And he probably thought the same thing if that's what he experienced in game.
And we are also talking about it. We don't know it was... he that paused it. It could be someone spilled water somewhere else. True. So we'll see exactly what happened.
But we both saw that weird thing.
Yeah, and everyone at home saw it as well. Anyway, back to my catchphrase.
Yeah, catchphrases.
What else are we thinking about?
What are we thinking?
Getting onto the Rift, I've got getting down and dirty with it, but I don't think they'll let me use that at Worlds.
What if you just scream like, woo, at the start of every game? You know, just really aggressively.
League of Legends! Yeah, that doesn't sound sarcastic at all.
Oh my God, I love League of Legends.
Oh my God, I love League of Legends.
Imagine
League
if
of Legends.
I'm just saying.
Come on.
No, because now it's a catchphrase, man. It's not a song. We're not writing a... I almost said a bad word then. We're not writing a duet.
No? Not gonna write you a love song. No? Okay. Other catchphrases.
Other catchphrases.
It's time.
We can't use that one because that one's already been taken.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just have a break, have a Kit Kat. Maybe you need a little jingle. If we cast together, you could give me a little jingle, and then I could finish it. You know, like you'd be like, ba bum 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 bum, League. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be memorable.
It just has to be
That's
memorable.
what I've learned from every brand ever.
Yeah. Do you know what I will always remember? The Dairy Milk Gorilla advert where he is playing drums.
Yeah.
That
exactly. Or the Tetley's tea ones. Right?
Tetley's tea
where
ones.
it's just a monkey and they're making a cup of tea.
Oh,
and it's like, why do I remember that? It's
do you
just
remember the toilet paper that just had puppies?
Yeah.
I don't remember the brand.
We probably shouldn't. I've realized we've said a lot of brands in this segment, Betty. You should probably cut that out.
Yeah, true. Probably true.
So I see something written on the order queue in front of me, but I haven't had confirmation that I can say it yet.
Why not just wait for that confirmation to then talk about it?
Because sometimes I just say things that are in front of me. I'm a play-by-play caster. So league officials have confirmed there was an unwanted interaction with the Sylas grab. The league officials have confirmed that, and we're chrono breaking back to 13:15.
If we can, observers, if it's possible, production as well, could we have a look back at like what happened to the Sylas? Because it was super weird. Production are working on it. They're going to see if they can get a replay for us. So stay tuned, viewers at home. But yeah, understandable. You all saw it. We saw it. We thought it was weird. And turns out was in fact weird.
So we will chrono break back. And then hopefully get back on into the game.
Let's do the time warp again.
Boom, 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 boom. Let's do
here we go.
the league thing again. So
Sertuss, what does he do? Does
presses
the
E. Oh. No, I know what this is. I know what this is.
Really?
So when Sylas grabs onto something,
yeah,
he's teleported to like he blinks. He travels forward to next to it, right?
Yes.
But when the minion is against the wall, there's no place for Sylas to be put next to the minion. And so because he is then in the wall, he is teleported past or pushed through the wall to the other side.
It's the principle behind certain flash locations,
when you
right?
flash over halfway through a wall, you get flashed over to the other side.
It's also like there are certain other dashes. I forget who it is, but I think like Kane is a really easy example where like if it runs out on cooldown when you're in your E in the wall, it'll just push you out, right? So yeah, I guess it's because you're airborne. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but it's something to do with that. Yeah,
it's something to do with the dash anyway. But yeah, it's very obvious what happened. We are chrono breaking as we've previously mentioned.
So you're looking for a catchphrase that you say basically when the game starts.
Yeah.
Have you thought about just
get jiggy with it? Boom, boom, boom. No. I think musical we should avoid, actually. The more I do musical ones, the less I like them.
The less invested you are.
That's why I'm not in electronic anymore, right? Like
we didn't kick you from electronic.
It seems like it.
No, we just haven't had a hit single for us to write.
Oh, interesting. What other hit singles happened?
I'm just saying.
You made a new band. You went full Queen on me.
I didn't make a new band. I
what's the guy's
explored
name?
other options out
Freddie
there.
Mercury, okay?
Yeah.
We're making hits, right? You and I, we're Bohemian Rhapsodying. We will rock youing, right?
Uh-huh.
We're out there. We're doing huge shows. And then you're like, actually, I'd like to do my solo projects for a bit because they're going to pay me a lot of money.
I mean, yeah.
So then you went out and you hired Dracos.
Yeah.
And you hired Ender, right? And how were those? Huh? Didn't they make you miss me? Didn't you miss
they
the
were
good
pretty
old days?
good songs.
Yeah, they were really good songs. That's the issue.
You know, I've been really thinking a lot. Like, no one is bought in, but I was like, what if we did a metal version of I Want the LEC Back?
I just want to scream. I just want to do screamo.
It's really bad for your voice, unless you do it properly. Anyway, we're back. That kill doesn't count. Forget it ever happened. Sometimes chrono breaks have a negative impact on our overlay, so you can see that we are using the old one right now. But yeah, here we are, back into the game. 13.5 minutes in. Sertuss did in fact not die. Top tower dropped, and the gold is pretty much dead even.
I've got it.
You've got your catchphrase?
Here we are.
I'm Batman.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
No, that one's...
Look at us.
I don't
Here
think...
again.
That's how you want to start a competitive game of League of Legends?
I see no problem with that. I could just do a movie quote for everyone.
Yeah.
Something fitting for the moment.
Yeah, just you go into game, and then just like as the game starts, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. It has to be a movie that's out of the time. So tomorrow, if I cast any games,
I'm your father. Yeah.
Because Oppenheimer's out, we're just gonna get into the game. I'll be like, I have become death, destroyer of worlds.
That could be fun.
Yep.
People will then look forward to your catchphrases. Which random movie reference is he going to make, and will I get it?
Or I could start with a medical fan, like I do my streams. As Sertuss looks to start a fight in the bottom lane. Good Everfrost on Chasy, who gets up towards Mega and will burn the flash to escape. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Markoon looking for engage. On the backside is Nisqy, knocked away with the explosive cast. Irrelevant falling down to half HP, but Exakick with the red-white looking for more of a fight. No one dies.
Wow, so I thought Nisqy was going to die initially, and then he gets away with his life, and then I really thought that Doss was going to die. Hylissang, no. Okay, he's fine.
He's good.
Yeah, he's chilling. It's just Hilly, man. He's going to play with your emotions. Sertuss looking for another... Does he have the damage?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Okay.
Wait, new Chasy didn't have flash as well.
The problem with Sylas is early levels, he just doesn't have the cooldowns to like stay in a fight for long. So he dropped his whole combo onto Chasy earlier, and obviously he didn't have the damage. This time though, he did. So Sertuss popping off right now. The gold is even, but you look at Sertuss, you look at Markoon, and this mid jungle has been very much dominating across the board from start to finish. Huge props to them. Hylissang now looking for a hook. Ooh!
Irrelevant blocks it. Epifrost coming out. Dos looking for the knock-up. Slow as well on Hilly, but he should be able to walk away. Flash invested from Hylissang there. Counter flash from Exakick.
So I'd say worth for Hilly. Markoon soloing out the Rift Herald right now. There's no position for Mad to really contest as Carzzy continues to farm up in the mid lane. He is still a very strong Draven. Markoon will smite that one away. Dragon spawning. Oh no, the Baron and Dragon have swapped back the other way around.
Hilly
is dead.
Gets the hook on Exakick, but that just pulls it closer to Carzzy, who flashes forward. Exakick being healed and shielded a ton. The knockback on Carzzy, the barrel finds him. A double for Irrelevant. I think Carzzy did get about 500 gold though for the kill. Sertuss trying to join the fight, was spotted on a ward as he worked his way towards this mid lane. Markoon here as well. Gonna Hex flash in. Chasy, steadfast presence. Markoon looks for the knock into the wall, can't quite find it. Gets the knock up with the keeper's verdict, but Elyoya in the right place at the right time to protect his top laner.
Just a bit of trading back and forth, but props to Irrelevant finding 2 kills. Carzzy flashing in to avenge his support's death. Will pick up the Infinity Edge off the back of that as well.
Didn't want to lose the stacks.
He got a 550 gold off of that kill. I think it was 553 to be exact. I also realized in that exact moment saying he secured 0.5k gold is never as sexy as 500.
Half a G though.
Half a G. That's not bad actually. Let's have a look now as Mad are in the river. There's no Chasy with them. He does have the TP, but it'd be an awkward position to TP from. Irrelevant could find a flank here. Nope, he's just going to go front to back with his team.
Sertuss has the Gnar ultimate. Dragon down to 3,000. Elyoya should be able to smite this one as Markoon comes in with the Glacial Prism. Irrelevant. The knock up, the knock back, the Everfrost, everything used by Irrelevant. And immediately Carzzy falls alongside him. Hylissang will go down. Nisqy too. Another double for Markoon as now he's got half of 10. He's got 5 kills. And you can see the gold swing over towards SK. Still a massive lead for Carzzy, 9k on him.
But still, like, the engage from Irrelevant was fantastic. Like, we've talked about his laning throughout the split. We've talked about how he as an individual overall has had a solid performance throughout the year. But look at this, 3-man knockup into the Everfrost. The ultimate follow-up as well is so clean. Sertuss doesn't quite find the follow-up with the chains, but it doesn't matter, the damage is done. 3 kills for SK. They don't quite get the dragon. That was actually executed by Carzzy, so Mad now find themselves on Soul Point. But things are falling apart very quickly for Mad. It's a weird feeling because Carzzy is so strong that you don't really feel the gold gap. And you also look at the items. Oh, nice Gale Force there from Exakick. But I still think this is winnable for Mad.
Oh, 100%.
Like, even though there's 10 kills to 3, Mad have done a great job of keeping that gold not that different. Like, you look at the mid laners' items, they are very even right now, you know? The top laners' items, of course, Gragas a little bit stronger, but Chasy's level 13 as well. So there are all these factors in mind that make me think, you know, Mad don't feel as far behind as perhaps you'd think they should be.
Definitely helps that Mad's team fighting has been some of the best in the league so far. Glacial Prism hits on Exakick. Breath of Life used by Dos. Like, cleanse away with his ultimate. The thing is, if Mad can protect Carzzy, if Carzzy gets 2 or 3 axes down, Exakick will fall, Dos will fall. Sertuss as well, depending on whether or not he's able to get
It's a 5-stack in mid.
Irrelevant has TP, Irrelevant has TP, Irrelevant. He has TP and he's gonna use it. Looking for the flank, Sertuss goes in, stolen Glacial Prison as they look for the engage. Nisqy has to flash away of anyone down. Sertuss falls low, but Irrelevant finds the body slam, the explosive cask as well. Already Mad have lost 2, Carzzy opening up the Severum ult. No health back for Exakick as it goes between the uprights.
The damage is good from Carzzy, but he can't quite stick in the fights long enough to get it off. Chasy wasn't close enough for them to really convert this. Markoon.
Chasy, where are you going to go? Tower aggroed onto him, a TP behind once again. Because he's already dead, Sertuss trying to dash forward, flash forward, lands it underneath the tower, and there's no problem with those chains. SK turn towards the Baron.
And Carzzy and Chasy overstay, and now this is a free objective. Now the gap should be big enough for SK to feel it. Elyoya still alive. He will be spotted on a ward.
Sertuss jumps here. Make sure that Elyoya can't get in. They're doing everything in their power to keep him at arm's length, and now they dive forward. The flash from Elyoya, but it's into a bush that SK can rapidly chase into. A almost 5,000 gold lead for SK. Baron on them. They lost Irrelevant in the fight, but they have 4 buffs that remain.
SK are just crushing Mad Lions right now. We'll see the beginning of this engage. Hilly gets a little too close. Does connect the hook, but a great ultimate from Sertuss lands onto Nisqy, forcing him to flash very early on. The flank then from Irrelevant gets that kill. And you can see how Carzzy's just forced off onto the back end of the fight. The damage is massive from Carzzy. I mean, he also just, like, his ultimate was shredding the opposition apart, but then they see them overstay. He gets CC'd into a wall. The turret even aggroed him as well. And then Sertuss with the TP is able to find that extra kill. Mad Lions looking very uncharacteristic in this game. Now, SK was able to get a big goal lead against G2, and then they threw it away.
Yep.
They weren't able to close. Irrelevant was really strong on the Gwen, and they just couldn't end it. Now, against Mad Lions, they find themselves with a very healthy gold leads, and they need to make sure they close this one out. You already talked about how if they don't make top 8, they just can't qualify for the season finals. They won't have enough championship points.
And that means they can't make Worlds. Obviously, very important. Alongside the LEC Championship as Hylissang falls once again. Mad Lions already locked into our top 8, locked into the group stage. And it was all the way from 8th place.
Is he just holding his hands up in celebration? Are you just going to leave him there?
I think it's a mixture of celebration, disbelief, and hope, you know?
He may have also forgotten that his arms are up there. He was so focused on the game that he just...
Often that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
You just forget.
Full loss of proprioception.
I mean, you used to wear glasses. You never take them off, put them on your head, and then be like, where are my glasses?
Yeah, that's true. I don't usually do it with body parts, though.
I mean, hey, to each their own.
Just, you know, take off your leg, leave it somewhere.
Well, I never said you take it off,
okay.
you know, but you've ever had your leg fall to sleep before? Yeah, exactly. You forgot that you were leaning something on it, didn't you? Checkmate.
5 years of medical training down the drain. And SK take their first dragon
Aren't you
of the
glad
game.
you met me to enlighten you on how the body really works?
I really am, been a good friend over the years. There's SK are looking to make some good Fuemigos in the bottom lane.
It's a weird transition, I'll admit.
Milio, you know?
You already stretched that one.
Hey.
Markoon looking for Chasy.
Fuemigo is for friends that we make together. So they look to add Chasy to the gang. The Gnar back, but Sertuss still has the Everfrost for the root. Chasy falls. Sertuss 6-0-7 now on the Sylas, and this has been really dominant performance from SK.
Mad. Like, it hasn't even been close. Aside from Carzzy getting a kill in the bot side of the map, like, this has just been the SK show. They started with great mid-jungle ganks, and they've just been moving that pressure around the map. SK are looking clean right now. Very reminiscent of what we saw back in winter when they were kind of at their peak. We've been wondering where this SK is. Perhaps this is their return to form. But they're going to need to maintain it. Of course, still another game to play tomorrow. But the pressure is on SK as they need to try and secure a spot in the top 8.
Currently sitting behind Astralis, Koi, and BDS, who are all at that 3 and 5. SK play Fnatic tomorrow as well.
Difficult opponent.
Although their rivals, BDS, play Mad. Astralis play Koi, so at least one of them is getting 2 full wins. Really feels like it's a battle between SK and BDS to see who can claim the final spot in the group stage. Obviously, things can all change over the next 5 games. Could even change within this game. It is a 6,000 gold lead for SK. We have seen Mad fight back from worse situations in the past.
True. Keep my eyes on Carzzy to be the person to do that. He is still very strong. Hilly.
Locked up. Sertuss goes in with the Gnar. Hilly already down to a 3rd HP, and Markoon chases forward. SK find another in the top lane. Chasy's trying to push down in the bottom side of the map. Irrelevant here to answer the wave that's crashing towards the tower. Chasy jumps over here.
That is not
the
it.
tower. Chasy, what are you doing, man? Okay, I mean, Chasy's dead, right?
No.
No, yeah, because Sertuss
Now
is
he's
here.
dead.
Yeah, so Chasy's just dead. Maybe thought that he could dance around Irrelevant enough to find at least
He wanted the tower.
or the
That's
kill.
what he wanted, yeah. And like, Mad is having an off day, I'm telling you right now. Hylissang recently achieved 2,000 deaths, LEC all time. Quickly on his way to 3. As he finds himself with 7 in this game.
It's a good death, Betty. It's a good death.
I don't think he'd have any good deaths
The team
in this
has
game,
4
mate.
kills, and he's been involved in 3 of them. Okay? No
Valid
one else has
argument.
been involved in as many kills as Hylissang.
Same for the deaths.
True.
Yeah.
It's just good support game.
Hilly giveth and taketh away.
Yep. And the moment he's giving kills and taking away his team's chance to win in some of these fights.
Quite right, quite right.
But it is his job as well. Like, he is...
Dying?
He's Blitzcrank.
Is that part of Blitzcrank's job?
I've had enough of this support slander, Vedius. The amount of times I'm playing Nautilus in solo queue and people are like, why did you end at 10 deaths? It's like, well, because we had to engage, and I'm the only one that can do that.
I'm just speaking the facts that are in front of me, as is my job as a commentator, you know? It's nothing personal. Nothing personal, man.
We stand Hilly in
There's
this house.
DOS right I think Nisqy is dead.
We'll see.
Deceased. His life is forfeit. The Emperor's reign has ended.
Rest in peace. If you hadn't nailed him to the perch, he'd be pushing up the daisies, Betty.
I get that reference.
He does fall. And SK will start the Baron. Nisqy just trying to join Hylissang up.
Oh, I love that reference. The Baron started off Elyoya looking to try and get a steal, has the flash.
He can still do this. Can dash in, can flash out, or vice versa. Vision there because the control ward's in the back of the pit. Markoon
Please
currently
don't
tanking
flip
the
this
tower.
SK, come on,
Irrelevant
don't
on
flip
the chase. Elyoya in the tri-bush. Chasy trying to get forward. Irrelevant's now going to man-mark Elyoya.
That control ward is still
defense.
there.
Elyoya! Not quite able to get it through the whirling death. Markoon secures the smite, and alongside it, the Baron. Elyoya will fall, and with the second Baron they've acquired, SK will be looking to break open the base of the Mad Lions.
That was a close one for sure. Markoon, I don't think even used his smite. I definitely saw the smite come down from Elyoya, so how the hell SK secured that one, I don't really know. Irrelevant has his eyes on Carzzy right now, but he has no teammates to support him.
But he does have an Imperial mandate, Vedius.
That he does.
So if there was a teammate nearby, they'd be doing extra magic damage. Irrelevant's just waiting here.
He's chilling.
Mad Lions check the bush.
Irrelevant cosplaying Gragas right now. Found a comfortable bush to nap in. Oh, teammates woke him up.
Does Gragas just nap in bushes around the map?
Yeah.
I mean, he's Santa, man. The guy's delivering presents.
Exploding presents, is that what he's delivering?
I'm not saying these kids have been nice. Okay? On the naughty list, for sure. Another gift for SK as they take the dragon. Their advance unabated. Feels like they're playing relatively safe, cautiously. It does make sense considering the position they're in the league, but I do feel...
I can tell you right now, they're saying, we threw against G2, let's please not throw this again, guys. Let's not do that.
But it does mean that their Baron is slowly whirling away. Half of the cooldown already down from it, and they haven't really got too much out of it, apart from the dragon. Can they find this top tier 2? Can be Markoon stepping forward. DOS and Sertuss nearby.
Relevant pushing in mid.
Oh, they see Chasy, but Sertuss actually goes in before the rest of his team are really there. Sertuss will be locked up with the permafrost. Flash away from Chasy. Knew that he'd be slammed into the wall by the Poppy.
Now that Exakick is here, their siege can begin. Has to be careful though when it comes to drawing the tower aggro. 4 members from Mad hold strong, but look at mid lane. Irrelevant pushing in that wave. Will slowly be chipping away at the tower.
2 points of pressure. Hylissang looks for the hook, can't get it underneath the tower. Markoon dives in, and immediately Hylissang dives. A shuffle back, but it's not enough. Mad Lions start to clear it all up. In fact, it was Sertuss' shuffle that pulled Mad Lions back. SK take the fight in the top lane, and they will take their 3rd win of summer. Will it be enough to get them through to the group stage? Will it be enough to keep them alive in the season finals? We will have to wait and see, but for now, SK have done their job.
A one-sided stomp from SK as Mad Lions is wiped off the map.
And SK can breathe a sigh of relief for tonight, at least, as they move on to join BDS, Astralis, and Koi at 3 and 5. Tomorrow is a new day, and could be the last day of some of these players' seasons. But for now, SK have one more lifeline that they can rely on.
That they do. Mad Lions looking out of sorts in this game. A massive underperformance across the board. Of course, Carzzy, I think, still playing very well, finding what opportunities he can, but the mid jungle fell apart. The top lane was getting caught left, right, and center. Sertuss was absolutely popping off, and he died one too many times, one could say. But huge props to SK. Loved what we saw from Sertuss and Markoon in this game. Irrelevant continues to showcase why I think he should be respected as one of the best tops in Europe. His laning continues to be very strong, and he does find these opportunities for his team. He's been a great top laner to watch ever since his introduction onto Misfits and then finding a home on SK. Definitely a strong top laner rather, that continues to have his presence known on the Rift.
You can vote for him as one of your players in the Player of the Game vote at LEC on Twitter. Irrelevant, Markoon, and Sertuss are the three options available to you.
All very, very good. Sertuss with some great Shurima shuffles. Markoon with a lot of great ganks, working alongside Sertuss and DOS in the support role to find impact on the map. And then Irrelevant, just with so many of his great engages. SK really stepped up today. They need to show that performance again against Fnatic tomorrow to be able to significantly increase their chances of qualifying for the group stage.
It would be unlikely if they get to 4 wins that they wouldn't make it to group stage, of course, but it's still something. I haven't done all the numbers, haven't done all the calculations, so we'll have to wait probably for PGL. Knowing Trevor, he's probably prepared every single permutation of the next 5 games.
Does sound like something he would do, yeah.
What is that? 2 to the power 5? 2, 4, 8, 16, 30. 64 combinations?
Perfect.
Possible scenarios?
Yeah, I'll trust you. Your math is great.
I'm redoing it in my head. Might be 32, actually. 2 to the power 5? 32? 2, 4, 8, 16.
And we're going to find out from Trevor as we hand it over to him and Trouble in PGL. Bye-bye. That was a terrible toss.
Yeah, it was really bad. You do better next time.